Sweet grass of summer slowly fades away when all the leaves are colored. They're here not to stay. With the autumn breeze throws a chill on my face, but it's good to be alive today. I'm feeling well. We can't breathe oxygen down in hell. We can't breathe oxygen down in hell. But the trees grow tall, tall as they can. Then the man comes with an axe in his hands, but he builds a bridge and then he burns it down. He's not the kind of man you want to have around. We can't breathe oxygen down in hell. We can't breathe oxygen down in hell.
On October 18th, 2013, something in my head told me I needed to be in a tree stand. To this day, I still can't explain it. I rushed out of work, took a quick shower, grabbed my gear, and headed to a stand I hadn't hunted yet that year. It was a warm, mid-October day in Pennsylvania, which isn't much justification to be rushing out to the woods, yet there I was. The first hour or so went as expected. I was just glad to be sitting in a tree. It wasn't until 5:15 that I caught a glimpse of a large-bodied deer trotting through the field I had walked in through. I grabbed my rattling horns and clashed them together for not even 10 seconds. Before I knew it, the largest deer I had ever laid eyes on in the woods was directly beneath my tree stand. He was my largest whitetail to date, a 4.5-year-old, 139-inch warrior. Surely he was king of the woods. Deer of this caliber are not easy to come by in northeastern PA, so needless to say, I was flying pretty high. Anyone who has had a taste of success during archery season understands what I'm talking about. For someone my age, I've been fortunate enough to experience success quite a bit in my hunting career. I was essentially raised to do it. My father began taking me in the woods with him before I could even walk. He taught me everything I know and let me experience success at a very early age. I've been absolutely obsessed ever since. After my dad helped me get the deer out of the woods, the first person I went to visit was my longtime friend Mitchell Pope. We've known each other since elementary school, but due to the fact that we ended up going to different high schools, we hadn't been in touch often in the past few years. The one thing that we always did keep in contact about, though, was hunting, specifically archery hunting. Other than myself and my father, I don't know anyone who is as dedicated to archery season as Mitchell. I explained to him that the only thing I regretted about my harvest was that I was unable to capture it on film. I vowed to never miss an opportunity to capture a moment like that again, and asked Mitchell if he wanted to join me in documenting the upcoming season. I also asked my good friend Brian Filarski to help with the filming, editing, and most importantly, just getting out in the woods. The 2014 Pennsylvania archery season would definitely be one to remember. For the 2014 season, I decided I was going to concentrate on 3 main properties, all within 10 minutes of my house. I believe that the proximity of a hunter's stands to their home is a crucial component to success. The fact that these properties were so close to my house would increase my time in the stand, allowing me to hunt around my work schedule. Mitchell also utilizes this tactic and hunts 2 properties very close to his house and one that is a little further away. I began scouting my properties in November of 2013 since I was already tagged out. It was a restless time for me and I couldn't keep myself out of the woods. The fresh sign was easily distinguishable and very easy to find. I made notes of all the sign I found in anticipation of hunting these areas the following year. I have come to learn that deer seem to use the same areas to breed year after year. I came to this conclusion because of first-hand experience in conjunction with the fact that where I would find a high concentration of fresh rubs, old rubs were also normally prevalent. Figuring out these breeding grounds is the key. With this information I gained over the winter, I would be able to improve the location of existing stands and also hang a few new ones. Last year, I realized I was due for an equipment upgrade. I had been shooting the same bow for over 10 years, and I knew that a new one would not only be more efficient, but it would help my confidence as well. Dave Fazio at Fazio's Archery in Iron, PA, introduced me to the Expedition Eccentric. I was absolutely blown away. I was immediately convinced after shooting it that it was the best whitetail hunting bow on the market. I've shot just about every name brand in the archery industry, and honestly, nothing compares. It is insanely fast, compact, smooth, forgiving, the list goes on. But above all else, it is unbelievably accurate. With this bow in my hand, I felt that any deer that walked in range was in trouble. The bow brought confidence to another level, and upon shooting it, Mitchell immediately ordered one as well. The summer was a busy time for us, planning Northridge Wildlife Forage food plots, establishing mineral sites, shooting our bows, checking and hanging trail cams, hiking endless miles through some of the most diverse Pennsylvania terrain. We spent majority of our free time in the woods. Anyone who refers to any of these activities as work just doesn't understand. Being in the woods is something we have to do. We need to be there. It is instinctual. It is a survival mechanism bred into us, perhaps one of the most important gifts our ancestors have given us. Our society as a whole simply would not exist today if it weren't for this inbred knowledge and thirst for a harvest. After several days of financial obligatory work keeping us away from the woods, getting out to check a trail cam, till a food plot, hang a stand, or simply just walk through the woods is the equivalent of a fix. It hits the reset button for us. I find comfort in this, knowing that it is a fire that will never die. My season started off the way most Pennsylvania archery seasons start, slow. We experienced warm weather for majority of October. During the early season, my mind is usually set on filling the freezer, so that's exactly what I did.
Earth that was setting sun, you told me you were one. I followed where you led. Winter came and left you dead. Winter came and left you dead.
On the evening of October 14th, I slipped into a stand I had set in the corner of a large field on an 82-acre farm I had permission to hunt. All summer, I had been watching a very large group of does and fawns feeding in the field every evening. I hunted this spot the previous year, but had improved the location of the stand this year. I moved it to a large maple tree that provided excellent cover and a wide shooting range. Right in the corner of the field where my stand hangs, there is a grassy path that leads to a small creek behind the stand. Over the summer, my trail camera provided me with information that several different groups of doe and yearlings were using that path leading from the stream to the field, along with a few buck. If the deer did what I thought they would, I should be set up for an 18 to 20 yard broadside shot. It was a somewhat breezy evening, and the deer didn't move until about 40 minutes just before dark. Just as I had planned, the deer worked their way up the path. While I was able to fulfill my early season goal, Mitchell had a very different challenge going on. What I did tonight, I sat down and I went back and looked at every trail cam picture I ever had of that 9-pointer, and I printed out a bunch of calendar sheets here, and I wrote down the days that he came in and the times that he was there, and I highlighted the shooting hour times that he was there in yellow, the times that he was there at night and early morning I highlighted in orange, and I even went as far as to highlight
the times that he was almost there during shooting hours in green. The times that I just missed him either walking in or walking out. But I tried to see if maybe there was some sort of pattern, and then maybe I could figure maybe every 3 days he was coming in or something along those lines. But I looked through this thing so many times I don't see a thing. I can't figure it out at all. It's just so sporadic and everywhere. I mean, the times are all different. There's pretty much, I mean, the only times he's there consistently time-wise is at night. But like the times that he was there during shooting hours was pretty much all in the beginning of the year, like August and early September. And then after that, I only have him on camera twice at shooting hours. And then I can't figure out a pattern at all. I mean, I had a couple other people look at this too, and they don't see anything. I mean, it's just everywhere. It's all over the place. So I know it's just now I have to be in the stand at the right time, and hopefully I catch him chasing a doe or something through that area, or if I rattle or grunt and he's around and hears that, he'll come in, or maybe he'd just come walking through, which would be the plan. I mean, not gonna shoot him sitting here. So what I know now is I just gotta keep hunting him, and we still got a little bit of time left. It's early November, so it's a good time to be sitting for him anyway. So I really have a good feeling that it's gonna happen soon, and fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
Towards the end of October, the buck activity started to pick up. I had a really interesting encounter with a young aggressive buck who must have recently been in a fight, judging by the white hair on his antlers. That same morning, I witnessed a possible shooter make a couple scrapes about 400 yards across a field. I checked the scrapes and hung a trail camera and believed this to be the buck that made them. I also believe that I had this deer on film during the summer. The next morning, I had another encounter with a small 8 who had been showing up on the cameras. The most interesting encounter was on the evening of Halloween. I was hunting a stand for the first time on a mountain at the intersection of some very old, grown-in logging roads. The only footage I got of the encounter was lost in an unfortunate data accident, but what I believe happened is that a snort wheeze I made intimidated the buck who was working his way up the logging road. I believe a bigger deer may have been in the area, and this one probably had already learned his lesson. With the rut really starting to get in gear, Mitchell and I knew it was only a matter of time before we would have an opportunity.
Just getting out of school. It's about 3:30. The plan is I'm going to throw all my stuff on and get over there as fast as I can and see what happens. Yo. You're not kidding me, are you? Are you joking? Are you joking me? Dude, come on. I'm getting dressed right now. Don't fool around. I just got out of work. I'm about to go over there. Really? Who got it? Oh, man. Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Where, though? Where'd he get it? That's 100 yards away from me. Like up on their side there. I knew I should have went before work this morning.
That day, while Mitchell was at work, Niner had indeed been harvested by a hunter on a neighboring property. Although he was disappointed, Mitchell would not let that keep him out of the woods.
Daddy, he was a working man. It's just too bad he couldn't be around. Mama grabbed what she could, and they were good to all of us. So won't you carry me in a bucket now? Hold me high while I put this star on top of this tree. Carry me in a bucket now. Lay my body down in a hollow tree and let me be part of everything. Part of everything. Part of everything.
The reason I chose to sit in that stand that morning was because I sat in the same stand the night before. It was a terrible night. The winds were swirling. It started snowing on me. So with about an hour left of daylight, I got down out of the stand. I crept up over here, over the knoll here where you can see down into the other field. Usually I catch them bedding down there. So I got right up to the fence line, and as I was looking, I saw two tails take off. So I was focused on those, and I just happened to glance over to the right, and that's when I saw him. And I only saw him for maybe 5 seconds, but I didn't know if I was making up how big I thought he was, or that's how big he actually was. I backed out as slow as I can. He didn't see me, which was good. So I snuck back out of there and I went right back to the house. I didn't even tell Mark or anybody because I didn't want to go back to the house saying I saw this monster and have it not be a monster. So what I did was I came back to the stand real early in the morning and I set up the decoy and I planned on him laying down there somewhere. So what I did was I rattled real early and I started grunting, and next thing you know, I saw the antlers coming up over the top of the hill and I knew it was him, and thank God I didn't scare him out of there because he came right to that decoy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Go down, go down, go down, go down. Go down, go down. I'm gonna take a heart attack. Oh my God. He just came running through that field. I have the Glendale buck right here. He walked right into it and he was about to fight it. It was the coolest footage ever, and my camera wouldn't work. I don't know why I hit the button 10 times to start recording, it just wouldn't work. Oh my God, I don't know why it wouldn't work. It was so cool. Oh my God. I don't know why that wouldn't work. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so pumped up right now. Oh, he's up again, he's up again. Doe jumped out.
Get any more up? Yeah. Actually, I guess it looks like he's pumping out both sides.
Right now, it's around 1 o'clock. I shot him walking into my stand today at 7:24 because I called Mark right after I did it. He came running right to the decoy, hit it. My camera died, of course, and then I shot it. We got good blood. We walked. I mean, I saw him drop twice through this field. He got up both times, came right down to this corner here. It gets real thick down in here. He came down in here. We tracked him at 9:30, and we kicked him up, which made me a little nervous. So we waited till about 1:30 now. So we're hoping right now that he's down in there. We just had hawks circle in this area, so I mean that's a good sign. But I'm nervous right now. We're gonna see what happens.
Deer doesn't bleed this good and live. So on November 4th, the reason that I chose this stand was because on November 2nd, I came here, it was a Sunday, I came to check this logging road. In 2012, I hit a Pope and Young deer that I'd never found, and it was up in the field, right up the hill here. He ended up coming down this way and he crossed this logging road, and when he did, when we were tracking him, we came across all these monstrous scrapes. I mean, it was just torn up in here. So I remembered that, and it was, like I said, it was November 2nd, it was a Sunday. I didn't really have anything to do, so I wanted to get out and do a little bit of, mid-season scouting and figure out what was going on. I came back here to check to see if the scrapes were here, and sure enough, they were. So I brought a ladder stand with me, and I'm not a huge fan of hunting out of ladder stands, but I tucked this one right up on the hill here. And it put me about 30 feet above this logging road. And what I did is I set it downwind from those scrapes, so if a buck was going to come check them, if he was just going to scent check them, he could, just get a whiff of them and see what's going on. And that's exactly what happened. Meh.
Rolling down the hill and came flying over. Oh my God. I'm almost positive I heard him crash, but I'm gonna give it a minute. I'm gonna climb down and pick up my phone.
Alright, well here we're gonna go track my deer. This was definitely a different encounter. He pretty much came in because I dropped my cell phone and it tumbled down the hill. I watched him chase a doe across the hill about 20 minutes earlier, and I don't know, he got hung up over there for a little bit. I didn't even realize he was there. I texted Mitchell, said I saw a nice buck, and then I went to put the phone in my bag and dropped it, and it cartwheeled all the way down this incline. I'm on a pretty steep incline here with my stand, and he actually heard the phone tumbling down the hill through the leaves, and it brought him charging in. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's the way it went down. I put a good shot on him, so let's go get him.
Now you do this? Or no?
Yeah.
So I can do better light if I don't have to carry this one for no reason.
Alright,
It's pretty dark blood, definitely heart blood. Well, here he is. We found him. It's not exactly the ghost that we were looking for, but he's not a bad deer. He's probably a 2.5-year-old. You know, I only had a split second to decide whether or not to shoot him. He came in so fast. You know, after I dropped my cell phone there, and he came running into. I thought he was going to steal it, so I killed him. He had to die, but. Yeah, that's the way that went down. So when you've got a split second like that and you've sat there all day and not seen any deer, it makes it tough to make a judgment call like that. So that's what I did, and I'm happy with him. He's gonna taste good either way. So let's get this guy cleaned up. After seeing how abruptly my season ended and realizing how quickly your luck can change in the woods, Mitchell was anxious to get back in a tree stand.
Well, I thought this 4:30, 5 o'clock getting up early was over with. We looked for that deer for about 6 days, and it wasn't just me. It was some of my greatest friends coming up there, taking time out of their hunting schedule, and some of them weren't even tagged out yet. They were more focused on trying to help me find my deer, and I couldn't thank them enough. But I had to make the decision to pull the plug on it, and it was the toughest thing I ever had to do. I mean, I already had a mount picked out for that thing for my wall, but after talking to these guys and realizing that we were coming up dry every time, I don't know why, but we're wasting a lot of time here. It's the best time of the rut, and what they convinced me, I have to get back out there. And what I decided to do, and I think it's a really good decision, is I'm going to go hunt this property right now that I didn't hunt yet at all this year. I don't even have a camera up over there. I'm kind of just winging it. I have nothing else to lose at this point. The landowner who owns it over there told me that she's been seeing this giant deer down by her pond every day, which is right down off her yard. And I mean, that's good enough for me. You know, I have nothing else really to go off, but I'm going to head over there right now. And what I was able to do last night, I set up a stand on the field edge that she has out in the back, and I'm gonna kind of go with the same approach. I'm gonna put the decoy out, maybe do a little rattling sequence in the morning if nothing's moving, but I know they are. I mean, we looked for that deer, and every time we were walking through the woods, we just saw buck chasing doe, and it was sad in a way, like, because we weren't sitting. But I mean, this is one of my favorite things to do, so I guess I really can't complain about it, you know. But we're gonna head back out there now. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning. Gonna get set up in the tree and see what happens. Hopefully third time's a charm.
Nice one. Nice high 8-point.
He just came in here and he was laying exactly where we thought he was going to be. I mean, I heard him go down somewhere in here, and it looks like he was laying here trashing for a little while. I mean, it's all torn up in here, and it snowed pretty good. He's still warm, so I think it was a great idea waiting. I mean, that was the smartest thing I think we did this whole time, was to just wait and give him time. But man, after the week I've had with shooting that huge 10-pointer and not being able to find him, I mean, I was sick over it. But I mean, I just got back out in the stand, and I'm glad I did, because I mean, this is a beauty buck too. He's a nice 8-pointer. Looks like a young deer, but man, he's thick. I'm happy, man. I have no other words but just to say I'm thrilled and I'm excited. And I'm so glad I went back out this morning, because I almost slept in.
Mitchell's season certainly had its ups and downs, but in the end, he proved that patience and determination are defining characteristics of a successful hunter. On November 23rd, I decided to take a ride up to the large mountain property that I had only hunted Halloween night when I had the encounter with the intimidated buck. I figured I'd get a jump on taking some stands down, but what I found in those woods quickly changed my state of mind. Destruction. Warning signs of absolute dominance. There was a mature deer owning that mountain, and I had only hunted it once. Where was he when I scouted it all summer? The thick mountainside had been sheltering a monster, and I had only hunted it one time. I can now assume with strong reasonable belief that my hypothesis about the buck being intimidated was more than likely true. Whatever beast was inhabiting that thicket, that buck on Halloween wanted no part of. As the sun began setting, I couldn't pull myself away from the thick, brushy shelf that had been torn to shreds by some testosterone-driven phantom. I know there is a monster in these woods, and it's my mission now to hunt this deer down. I will find out what made these rubs, and next year I will kill them. There's something different about this mountain that it seems like every time I walk it, I know how big it is. There's always a spot that I find that's just completely different, and it just intrigues me, and I just need to figure it out. And I had a good start this year here, but next year, this is my main focus. So I gotta figure out what's making those rubs. Overcome with regret for not having hunted there more than once, I can only stare at the rubs and try to imagine what the old gnarled antlers look like as they cut through the bark of those trees. It was immediately clear to me that this was the breeding ground of a mature deer. I felt a chill run down my spine as I began feeling as if I weren't alone there. In that moment, it was clear to me. Ghosts really do live.